Hi, everybody. My name is Sue Kuhn, and I am the Deputy Head of Professional Affairs in the Department of Pediatrics and a pediatric infectious disease consultant on the side.
Hello, I'm Leanne Morris. I'm the Assistant Program Director for Clinical Curriculum for the Pediatric Residency Program. And I like how you said on the side. On the side, you're an infectious disease doctor. Fine. On the side, I work in pediatric hospital medicine.
And my name is Sarah Tugas, and I'm one of the fourth-year pediatric residents here at Alberta Children's and also the education lead resident for the 2024-2025 year.
And we're all here today to give you a little teaser on an upcoming brand new podcast from the Department of Pediatrics. I think what we're going to start off today is talking about what prompted the idea of a podcast in the first place. I kind of was a bit of the instigator. So we were looking for ways that we can improve the connections amongst trainees and members in the wake of the pandemic. Time's also at a premium. So we thought that maybe doing something that was auditory, that people maybe could listen to in their car, for example, would be something that we'd like to try doing.
One of the things I was so excited about when Sue first shared this idea with me was this opportunity for conversations between trainees and staff, and also the opportunity for some reverse mentoring and some teaching that goes both ways between residents to staff and staff to residents. And this opportunity as well to have these discussions at all levels.
Now, how about you, Sarah, other than roping you into this?
I was excited when I heard about the podcast for the opportunity for residents to really get to do some career exploration. And the residents helped me to come up with a number of questions that we were able to include in the first episode and that we're hoping to include in subsequent episodes too.
And I guess something else that everybody's going to be wondering about is how on earth we came up with the name of this podcast, The Thrive Home. As many of you probably know, we all just completed the development of a new strategic plan. And you will also recall that our vision that we came up with was thriving together. And our mission includes supporting a positive and fulfilling work environment for our teams. So we really wanted our podcast to kind of reflect this intention. So how did we get from thriving together to the Thrive Home, you might ask? Well, we decided that we wanted to make these episodes fairly short so that most people could get through them on their way home when they're driving or maybe on the way back to the hospital the next day. The Thrive Home is kind of a play on words. If we're thriving, we're more likely to be able to find the drive in our professional lives.
I think this is really brilliant in a way that it doesn't add to people's day.
So I guess the next thing we better explain to everybody is a little bit more about the kind of content that we have planned for this podcast. One of the big drivers was this importance of appreciating and recognizing a broad range of people and activities. We also saw these interviews as opportunities to kind of learn more about the stories of the people themselves. We thought it'd be great to hear how different people's careers have unfolded. And really importantly was this idea of how they found balance or integration between the personal side of their lives and the professional ones. What's the who's who behind all of these podcasts? You're hearing from three of us today, but there's actually a much bigger crew. We want to make this a joint effort, as you've heard, between faculties and trainees. And so we hope to have more voices involved from both our residents as well as other parts of our department. This may include involvement in choosing the topics that you hear about, who is interviewed, and who does the interviewing. Beyond the people that you've heard of so far, there are actually a number of others behind the scenes who are making this podcast possible. So we started this project with a great deal of heart, but not a lot of knowledge or experience. Thankfully, the universe served up a few people to help us with those gaps in our skills, including JP Gaston, our Department of Pediatric manager, who turns out is a podcaster in his own right, not to mention musician, and formerly worked in the world of broadcasting. We also have our communications lead, Annie New, who turns out can do just about everything, including all of what you're hearing now. In addition to that, we have Jessica Todd in our front office supporting our efforts in many ways as well.
Sarah, can you tell us about the first episode that's coming up?
Absolutely. For the first episode, I had the privilege of chatting with Dr. Antonia Stang, and myself and Dr. Preet Sandhu were able to interview her all about the new strategic plan and got to hear a lot about her journey to where she's gotten to today, with some really interesting parts, including some of the worst career advice she's ever had and how she finds joy. So it was really great interview to be a part of, and I hope that you all enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed getting to make it.
So stay tuned for the release of our first podcast episode. There'll be links to it in our bulletin and on our department website.